Hello, everybody, and welcome to another of our series of webinars here from APRI. Today we'll be talking about building a barcode scanner app integrated with backend services. This is an update to a webinar we've done before on a similar topic. The basic idea is that a lot has changed in APRI, so it would be useful to go through and review some of the how it works now in terms of doing something as fundamental as building a barcode scanner, something everyone wants to do. Max Katz, as usual, will be doing the heavy lifting. He'll be presenting the demo and answering any questions you might have. My name's Charlie Cowens. I work in the sales and marketing department here, and I'll be helping Max out in doing this.
And thank you, Charlie, and welcome everyone. So we'll go over an app that allows us to scan a barcode, and then we'll save the stuff into a database. And then we'll also go over how it is integrated with the backend. And there is a server code script. There is a job that I schedule to run every 5 minutes to check the inventory, basically. So we were going to scan, I have drinks here in front of me that I'm going to scan the cans, and then we'll save the information into a database. And then we can also schedule scripts to run every, again, 5 minutes and check the inventory. And if the inventory is low, we can send an email or send a push message and say, hey, check the inventory, you're running low, all right? So again, that's for the push. And then we're going to use SendGrid API for sending the emails. So let's look at the app. Excuse me. All right, so let's open the app first. All right, so this is the app, and it's pretty straightforward. This is the first page, and you can see you can scan. So this is what invokes the barcode scanner, and then we get the code. That's the value that we scanned, and then the name, something we enter, and then the quantity, something we enter. And then really you get two options. If it's a new item, then we can add it to the database. And if it's an existing item, we can update it. Now, when we scan, we also do a search against the database to see if the item we just scanned, based on the code, is in the database or not. So that's also kind of a very common question that we get. I'm using a barcode scanner, I get this number, but how do I, what do I do with the number? So obviously the barcode scanner, it only scans, right? And it just resolves, it takes the picture and, scans the picture and returns the code. And then it's up to you, to do something with that value. Most likely you want to search a database, right? And get some information on the product you just scanned. So that's exactly what we're doing here. Now, so when we scan, we will search the database, and if we find the product, we'll actually display the name and the quantity, and then you can update the name or the quantity, for example, right? And then there is also a list that you can navigate to, and the list is very simple, right? This is just how it looks. So we can we can run the app in the browser. We won't be able to scan, of course, okay? But we can see what's in our database, all right? So we have, I've got some 3 drinks here, and I also have a bottle of water that I'm going to scan, and this is the quantity. So again, the idea is that this is a warehouse app. Obviously, it can be anything, right? You don't have to scan drinks. But the idea is you scan, you save it into a database, and there's also quantity. All right, let's quickly look at a database. That's being used here. All right, and this is the database. So you can see there is a code. That's the value that was scanned, right? This is the name and then the quantity. Obviously, the quantity is something I enter, okay? All right, so let's now run the app, right? So let's go back, and to show you the app, I'm going to share my screen with you, and give me a sec here. Let me reload so you can see it. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen. And let me see if I can close this. Here we go. Now, I said I'm going to use the tester app. So the tester app is right here. That's the first icon. I'm going to, all right. Just keep in mind there's a small delay between what I see on my phone and what you guys see on the screen. All right, and so this is the app, and it's very simple. You just get a list of apps. So, you know, and then you click an app, and you can click run. All right, and so this is how the app looks, and then we can go to the list. All right, now we can go back. And now we can scan. So of course, this is a hybrid app that's running on the device, and of course, this way you can test the native APIs. Again, obviously, I cannot invoke the barcode scanner in the browser. So let me get a bottle of water here, and we'll scan it. All right, so you guys see the scanner, and it says found product. Found product meaning from the barcode scanner. But you can see this message now, product not found. This is just a message that in my app that says we searched the database and we couldn't find this product in the database, right? Again, think of a warehouse, right? So, and of course you can put any message you want. Basically it says you can now add it to the warehouse, and I'm going to click done. And now I'm going to say, we'll call this pure water, and the quantity, I don't know, 150 for example, and then click add, and now there is a message that says that the product added to warehouse, and now we've got, you know, a water item. Of course, we can go to the database. If I hit refresh, I'll be able to see, but obviously you guys see that this list is coming from a database. Okay. Now, if I'm going to scan a product that already in a database, for example, Pepsi. Now let's go back and let's scan. Right. So we scan Pepsi. Oh, it says also not found. Let's I think I know what the issue is. Let me quickly look in the database, and I think has to do with the code. Yeah, for some reason there is an extra 0 that is, for example, it's being scanned. Let me do this. Instead of running so this is running via the tester app. Let me launch the app that actually installed on the device. But I think the problem is just get an extra number here. Let me do this. Let me share so you guys can see my screen. So I use the scanner, but let me do the app that actually installed. All right, let's try this. It's basically the same app, right? You get the same list here. Let's go back. Let's do another scan. All right. All right, so now the number is scanned without deleting 0 there. So it says product found in the warehouse because it already had Pepsi, right? And you can see in just a second it loaded, right? Diet Pepsi 100. And now I can change the number to maybe, let's say it's, low inventory. I'm just going to have only, 4 left as an example. And I'm going to click update. Right, so you can see 4. If I now refresh the database, obviously it says 4 here. Okay, so let's go back to the app, to the app builder, and again, just basically see. All right, so this is the UI, and it's pretty straightforward. When I do a search, one of the buttons will be shown, again, depending whether an item was found in a database or not. And then, of course, here I have different mappings. I have services and then mappings, right? So the barcode scanner, right? And let's look at the mapping. So the mapping is very simple here. All I do is I take the value scanned, return, and I put it in the input field. Okay. The format is there are different formats of, I guess, barcode scanners you can scan, and so this shows you the format of the value it's scanned. And then cancel will be true or false, but basically if the user canceled the scan, this will be set to true. So you can do something, if the user canceled. Okay. And then update product is very simple. We just, again, do an update against the database. Add a product, we do a post, right? So, and then the services, of course, the services are here. So for example, for create, so this is to add a new product, we're doing a post. To update, right, we're doing a put. And then I also have a query service, right, with the where, which searches, okay? And also for the search, what you guys can do right from the database, there's actually a query option right here that you can test. As an example, let's say you're looking for quantity, for code, right, for this code. And so you can do something like this, right, run query, and you can see that it matches this code. So you can actually test the query in the database console. All right. Anyhow, so this is the integration with the database. So we're two things really using here. Using the barcode scanner, right? And then we're using the database. We're searching the database, and then we can update the database if the product exists, and we can also add a new item. Before I move on to the server code part, how do you add a barcode scanner? It's pretty simple. You go to create service, and right here, that's the barcode scanner that I'm using, all right? Let me see, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. Oh, and that's the pop-up that you guys see, right? So you might have noticed it's not a JavaScript pop-up like a browser, and I am actually using the Cordova pop-up, right? That's right here, right? That's why you get a native-looking pop-up instead of just a JavaScript alert window, right? So again, this is using Cordova, and this is an example again where obviously writing custom code, and also an example of using Cordova API. It's pretty simple. All right, now let's go to server code. Okay, and so what I did is that I created a script called check inventory, and basically what it does is that it checks the inventory. So what's nice in Apri.io, because you get all these things together, they're obviously integrated. And the server code in the script, you can write any custom logic, right? Anything you want using JavaScript, and whatever you write is instantly exposed via a REST API. And in fact, you can see the script URL is right here. Now, but we're not going to be invoking it from an app, although we obviously easily can do that. It has a REST URL. What we're doing, we're actually going to schedule it as a job, and it's going to run every 5 minutes and check for inventory. Okay. But to go back, what I was just saying is that from the script, you can access the database. Okay. And so this is the database ID, this is the collection, and this is the API. This is just one of the APIs. We provide, other APIs to work with the database. But it's really nice that everything is integrated, because right from the script, you can query the database, right? And then I'm just checking, well, if I found, if it found the records that I need, then I'm going to iterate over the items that were returned to me, and I'm going to send an email, right? And the idea is, right here is the query. And I'm saying if the quantity, doesn't matter what product it is, I'm saying if the quantity is less than 5, right, then the inventory is low, and I need to send an email to someone, right? Say, hey, check the inventory, okay? And so that's what's happening right here, right? In a send email. And I'm going to show you what is an email, because obviously this is just a function invocation. So right here, I'm iterating over all the items because I could have, 2 products which are low in inventory, okay? So that's what happens here. I'm also, right, sending a push message right here, right? So I'm sending an email and also a push message, right? So this is another example where the stuff is all integrated, because right from here, I send a message. So this is my message, and this is the push ID that I need to specify. The push ID you can get from, right? So I've enabled push notifications. If I go to settings, when I enable push for an app, I get this push API key, which allows me to send a push message to the app programmatically. Okay, so that's what's being done here. Let's go back to the script, right? And actually, we can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. I'm sorry, I wanted to hide the test, not the editor. All right. So again, we do a query against the database. If we have any items which are below the quantity that I specify, then I'm going to send an email and I'm going to send a push message. Okay. Now looking at the email, that what I did is I created it as a library. Okay. The idea of a library is that you can reuse it in other scripts, for example, right? So you don't have to put all the code into a single script. And to look at libraries, we're going to just click all, and these are the libraries. There are some out-of-the-box libraries, but you can also create your own, and this is how the library looks. Okay. Now what I'm doing here is that I'm using SendGrid to send an email. So what I just mentioned when I was going over the diagram, right? So we're using server code to invoke another API. Okay, that's just an example. This is the URL, and then I'm doing a post, and these are parameters, right? My username, API key, email, to, from, and so on, right? SendGrid provides other options you can set, but this is just the basic example, right? So again, the idea of a library is that you can reuse it in other scripts, right? So it's pretty handy. Now let's go back to the script, and if you guys remember, let's see here the database. Okay, we have one item here which is below 5. Okay, so let's first test the script, right? And you can see here save and run, so we can run the script right here, all right? And then inventory check completed, and if I go, the inventory check completed is coming from here. It's coming from this is at the very end, okay? And if I go and open Gmail, right, so you can see an email was sent to me. So the following products need your attention, Diet Pepsi 4. Obviously, you can format and you can include any other information. This is just an example, right? So again, this is using SendGrid. I just sent an email. And if I look at my phone, and I'm going to share it with you guys again, right, you can see there's a little icon, and you can see it says scanner Pepsi 4, right, Diet Pepsi 4. So I send an email and also send a push message. All right. Next, what I want to do, obviously, you would need someone to click this button, right? Or you would need someone from an app invoke this script, but it would be nice if we could do this automatically. And that's where we're going to use jobs. This is where you can schedule a script to run every hour or every day, also up to you. So what I have here, I scheduled the script to run every 5 minutes, and this is so we can actually see it run within the time of a webinar. So right now it's off. I don't want to run it, but I'm going to enable it, right? And we'll have to see. We'll see the time, but basically we'll get an email. I'll get an email, right? Let me delete this one, so I have no emails. I have no push messages. Okay, so we'll come back to this and see when it's run. So basically, in 4 or so minutes, the script will be invoked. We'll check the inventory, right? And I still have 4 here, and it will send me an email, right? Then I can go. I can get more Pepsi. I'll update this quantity, and the script will still run, right? You still want the script to run to check for inventory, but then nothing will be sent because all the inventories are fine. Okay, so let's go back here, and again we will come back and check the email. So as you can see, it's an example that not just uses the barcode scanner, but actually uses a lot of other features in the platform. And what's really nice, as I mentioned, is everything is integrated, right? From the server code script, you can query the database, right? You can send an email, and you can send a push message, and you can also schedule the script to run. Okay, so you get a lot of nice functionality out of the box, right? And what I'll do is I'll post this example on the blog.
Oh yeah, that's useful. Or somewhere.
In some way, yes. We'll
maybe the blog isn't the. We need something else besides that.
Well,
we'll discuss it.
The blog will probably maybe sort of talk about it, but we'll probably maybe publish it in the Dev Center.
Yeah, and let's put some info in the follow-up email that includes the link to the video. We'll include that as an explanation of where to find that code.
Yes, and I think I just got an email, so let me another push message.
Oh.
And you can see right here, right, that we've got this inventory, right? Let's delete, and also got a push message. Let's delete this, and as I take questions, we will update the database, right? And right from here, we say that the ginger ale, we're also low on ginger ale, right?
Uh-oh.
So the next email that I get, we should have 2 items.
Explain that, yeah.
Yes, all right. But let's take some questions. Let me go back.
Yeah. Okay, we're there and there. The next webinar, TBD again. Actually, we have a pretty good idea of what the next webinar will be. It's the sort of a demonstration of our implementation of AngularJS and Bootstrap, and it'll be what's the basic pretext for it? It's a inventory app, the one that
I believe it's an insurance app.
Insurance, that's what it is. Well, it begins with an I. I was close. Anyway, this is we're deciding this today. At least the time is fixed though. It's 2 weeks from today, 11 a.m. to 12. And just check our plan cast whenever you want to know whether our upcoming plans and when they get locked in. So.
And just to add, if you guys will always sort of like to hear is, if you have any ideas for a topic.
Yeah, the whole point is to give our users what they want, not just to come up with things that we want to do webinars on.
Yeah. Sorry. One thing I want to mention is that I just sort of realized that the scanning, if you guys remember, there was a leading 0 edit, right? A 0 at the beginning of the code. And it wasn't matching. So I think it has to do when I run the app via the app.io tester, when I scan, it has 2 zeros. When I run the app, when it's installed, it only gets 1 zero. So something has to do with the barcode scanner and how it scans, or maybe it uses a different barcode scanner to scan, and it just gets it scans a different value. I'll have to check, but that's the reason, is that looks like the number is the same. It's just there's an extra 0 depending whether it's from the tester app versus installed app.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not a bug in the app. It's just the scanner That's how it resolves. And most likely has to do with maybe there are two different barcode scanners that are being used. So, but I'll check on that.
Okay. All right. And let me run through quickly the slide that we'll have up while we answer any questions that people have. There's the two email addresses for Max and myself, Charlie. Max is the guy who actually knows how Appri.io works. So if there are any technical questions, send them to Max. The sort of question you would send to me is more the kind of housekeeping type question, like when is the YouTube link going to go up or something like that. But don't worry if you send to the wrong person. We're only a few feet away from each other, so your email will get to the right place one way or another. We have a one-stop shopping place for all the docs, tutorials, and videos or informational materials that you'd want at the Dev Center. Also, we always like it when people connect with us through Twitter or Facebook. And finally, as I mentioned before, we have a Plancast page, Appri.io, and that's useful for two things. One is it shows you events that are coming up that we organize, but it also shows you events that we're going to that might very well be of interest to you. If you're interested in Appri.io, then you might be interested in these events too. So that's the great thing about using Plancast. So I'm going to just start in with some questions.
Let me, I guess before I
double check that thing.
Yeah, well, I just got to put a message, so let's quickly check that. All right, so another email I just received at 11:40 a.m. here. Right, and you can see now I have two items, right? Ginger ale and Diet Pepsi. And same thing right here. You guys can now see it says ginger ale and Pepsi, right? Push message. I mean, they're identical, but this is just to show you that I also received the push message. All right.
Okay, back to this. All right. So here's a question about the iPhone tester. Has it been approved?
Fortunately, not yet.
Okay.
And it was actually, we had to do a quick fix because they found a little issue with the tester, so it was resubmitted.
Oh, okay.
So we hope it will be approved fast. I mean, but now it's in the hands of Apple.
Now, is there a tester for on the Android side too?
Yes.
And and you're using it, of course. Oh, duh. Okay. So I need some more coffee, obviously. But and that's one thing, the difference that people notice when they're developing apps is it's much faster to get things approved through Android even now.
Yeah, it's it basically, I think it just shows up right away. I mean, I don't know, 5-10 minutes usually. I mean, for iOS, obviously you can still run the app just installing it on your phone directly. It's it's not as simple, but again, you can definitely test the app. So kind of, again, it's a workaround. It's obviously just a workaround is, you can test whatever you can in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the native APIs, right, you can install the app on the phone until the tester is approved, which, again, we hope any day.
All right. So I'm going to here's a question. I mean, I kind of brought it up at the beginning. It's more of a housekeeping question. So if there's still a chance. We still have some time if people want to pose questions about the demo. But the housekeeping question is, will the recording be available later? And the answer is yes. We'll be putting it on YouTube and probably Facebook too, and there'll be a link to the YouTube video recording posting when we actually send out the follow-up email that goes to all registrants. Okay, here's a question. This person wants to know how to increase the scan area to be wider. He's saying right now it's a square shape, which makes it difficult to scan the 13-digit vehicle identification number that's on the dashboard of the car. Well, wherever it is, I don't think it's there, but so.
It's an interesting question. What I do sometimes is you can move the device, your phone, or if you scan with a tablet, maybe farther from the object you're scanning.
Oh,
so that usually
you waste some space.
Yeah, I think the plugin that we're using, I haven't seen any parameters so you can increase the size window. But I do remember when I used an iPad Mini, because of the screen size, you get a much bigger window there.
Oh.
But again, just try moving it, farther from the object, and hopefully that will work.
This is like a follow-up to that. How can we make it open in landscape rather than portrait view?
That's I don't think there's an option just to do it, programmatically. You just need to, rotate, move the phone, to switch the view.
Okay. All right. Is there any way to have both the barcode scan and the QR code together? Is that possible?
So barcode scanner, QR code, I think it should, the barcode scanner should scan. There are a lot of different types of barcodes or codes you can scan. We can send you a link to the actual plugin, and that'll basically explain how it works, right? But just keep in mind that this is a PhoneGap or a Cordova plugin that we include in the app.